Hello and welcome back for race 2 of round 4 of the Spec7 racing series. It is the second last race of the series and we are away. Let's hope we can get off to a better start. Straight away you can see people into each other. Risky Devil against the wall skater into Nielsen here. We've got people going absolutely everywhere. It is bedlam off the line. This is of course a reverse grid race. Willie out wide just recovering onto the grass as Skater tries to go up the inside of Staniel. But chaotic start. Are we getting used to seeing that from these reverse grid races? And Kogan has been punched out. Of course, the race 1 winner finds himself hard up against the wall there. It looked like Tricky Brewer perhaps lost a little bit of control and just speared into him. We go on board with Tricky Brewer now. And you can see I think he just got a little bit sideways and punted into the side of Kogan, which put him into the wall. Not a great start from Kogan. It's got a lot to do now. Speedy Chicken, of course, having DNF'd and not finished race 1, he did get to start from pole position. So we're used to seeing Speedy Chicken up the front running his own race, and he's going to be hard to beat given that the top runners, the top finishers from race 1 started from the very back of the grid in this reverse grid race. Speedy Chicken did not have to worry about that. He was able to start from pole, and you can see he is straight away off and racing. He's already got a bit of a lead over Moldovic, who has a good opportunity here. He's had a couple of rough races, but this has given him the opportunity to try and disappear out the front in second place, have a nice clean race without worrying too much about fighting in traffic. Hippie Heat up into third position, so a little bit unlucky in the first race, getting tangled in the early lap incident. Lap 2 incident it was, of course, on turn 1 of lap 2. If you didn't see race 1, then do make sure you jump over to my YouTube channel and check that one out. But we'll ride on board with Ring Driver here, who's made his way up to 7th position behind myself. And we're both just trying to find a way past Crenshaw, who is proving a little bit more difficult to get past than we would probably like. Doing very well in 5th position at the moment, Crenshaw. You can see I've got right up in the toe now. See if I pull out and go the overtake into turn 1. I'm side by side. I've had to bail out of that one. I thought Crenshaw was going to move across on me. And I find myself on the grass actually, just trying to sneak through. It's getting very bunched, and I have finally got it done with a little bit of argy-bargy. The pack is starting to build up behind him. Plenty of action still going on here. We've got Tricky Brewer still caught in the midst of it, and that was Crenshaw, unfortunately going around. Not sure if he got tagged by anybody there, but he has found himself facing the wrong direction, speared off the track. It does, of course, promote Ring Driver up into 7th position with Willie following closely. Kogan recovering to a solid 9th now, so he, of course, is one to watch, having done so well in race 1, or so well, he won it. And Nielsen, of course, 2nd position, is trying to hang on to his coattails. He goes past Risky Devil through the final turn and continues his hunt. Those two will want to be sticking together. Nielsen coming off some really, really good form, actually. He looked good in race 1. I thought he was going to be able to win it on the line. He wasn't. But as we see Willie go up alongside Ring Driver, a nice little manoeuvre he got. Positioned on the inside of the corner there. There's not a lot Ring Driver can do. And Willie slides on by. Next up is Tricky Brewer, who has definitely been beaten up a little bit in this race so far. Proved quite difficult to overtake. And as the pack sort of builds up behind him, we are on board with Kogan at the moment, so we get a first-hand view of what's going on here. You can see just how tight the pack actually is. Tricky Brewer in 6th, Willie in 7th, Ring Driver in 8th. We got Kogan in 9th, and Nielsen right behind him in 10th. So this is a hot little contested battle in the midfield here. You expect to see that at this point of the race, though. Being a reverse grid, everybody's trying to make it through to the front. Willie, of course, was 3rd in race 1. So 3rd, 2nd and 1st in race 1 are in that order. Following along, just trying to work their way through. Speedy Chicken has been given the opportunity to rip away at the front, as you can imagine. Nielsen just under a little bit of pressure actually from Risky Devil, who is in turn under pressure from Skater. All pretty keen to get through. Bit of a cork in the bottle at the moment, it seems. But we'll see how we go. As long as the racing keeps nice and tidy. But yeah, Tricky Brewer perhaps just the cork in the bottle at the moment. If he can jump out of the way, or if people can get past him, I feel like the rest of the field will be able to release and settle into a good rhythm. Willie has got the job done. You can see he's already just gained probably a second or so on Tricky Brewer. So he's able to head off in pursuit of the top 5. Already a bit of a gap forming, however. So while Speedy Chicken is a long way out in front, the next 4 all together on the track. A little bit of a gap back, as it looks like Ring Driver is going to be trying that. He's right up along the inside. He's got the inside line, and he's able to pull it off. As long as he doesn't run wide, the worst thing you can possibly do at Suzuka is get out on that AstroTurf on the outside of turn 1. There is no grip on that at all, and it actually looks like Nielsen there in the background getting well wide, so he's not been able to go with Kogan. He was right up with him. Looks like he made a mistake through turn 1. As I say, you get out too wide on that AstroTurf and there is no grip. You really need to run wide off the AstroTurf and try and turn it back on, but a very tricky corner to get through. As soon as you drop a wheel off the edge of the track, things go pear-shaped in a hurry. Tricky Brewer there, we didn't see, might have had a little bit of an incident actually. He's found himself right at the back of the pack now and a good gap back, so he's recovering. It is lap 6, which means if you saw race 1, this is exactly the same lap I dived in. I have gone back onto the 2-stop strategy for this race. And Risky Devil actually followed me in as well, so he must have liked the 2-stop tactic because he has followed it through. So straight away I've come out, and one of the advantages I suppose in a race like this, by pitting early, it does give you the opportunity to get out of the... we see Skater there just off the track. It does give you the opportunity to pit early, come out without traffic around you. So all of a sudden you don't have to worry about overtaking people. You don't have to worry about fighting in the pack. You can just get on with your race, put your head down, really try and knuckle down, get some good lap times in. And with that early stop, you can actually undercut quite a lot of the field. Of course, I do have to stop again, as does Risky Devil. But it's all sort of tactic, it's all strategies, it's how it plays out. There might be a few more people willing to do this race just on the 1-stop. As we saw, that did appear to be the best strategy in race 1, which is probably exactly why I chose to do the slower strategy again in race 2. Nielsen coming up alongside Mojo now. He's going to have the inside run of the corner. This is one of the only overtaking spots, and in fact Mojo didn't want to give the corner up, and it hasn't served him well. Slight bit of contact for Nielsen, who did have the line. It hasn't helped Mojo's race at all. He's actually dropped a few positions, and you can see I've already got past him there. So having pitted once already, Mojo unfortunately finds himself behind me. Nielsen is finally in hot pursuit of Ring Driver in front of him, and then Kogan, who has been able to skip a long way in front. Kogan nearly caught up to Willie there, as you can see. But Jason's and Speedy also still willing to jump on that 2-stop strategy. The advantage for Speedy, he is so far out in front that he can pretty much choose whatever strategy he likes at this point. A big advantage of him, of course, he didn't score a lot of points. Every position in this series does score 8 points, so even if you start the race and then DNF, you get some points, but he didn't get a lot from it. I feel like he's going to make up for those in race 2. Out to a commanding lead. He's going to go to the 2-stop strategy, but as I say, he can pretty much do whatever strategy he likes at this point, because unless he makes a very, very big mistake, and speaking of which, Nielsen has made a big mistake. Speedy Chicken's able to actually slide through on the inside, so that does not serve Nielsen very well. It does not bode well for him, because he does still have to pit, and in fact he's got myself, who has already pitted once, right up behind him now. So the race perhaps not going the way Nielsen would have liked, and it's looking like a repeat of race 1 where he came second and almost got the win. That's already starting to look on lap 9 like that could be a bit of a difficult thing to achieve. And straight away with the grip there, you can just see coming out of that final turn, the extra tyre grip I've got from pitting early, getting a nice fresh set of rubber. I've been able to actually go past him before we've even got to the braking zone, and that's just tyre grip. That's what that comes down to. Ring Driver out well wide, so he was in a really good position, but he's made a big mistake. He has to give way to me, and now he's going to have Nielsen pretty keen to get up the inside. Ring Driver was having a very, very good race up until now, but it seems to be turn 1 that's catching most people out here. All you have to do is overcook it a little bit, and you think you've got it. You run a little bit wide, and you can see him actually running wide again, so struggling with tyre grip there at the moment. Nielsen slides on past, things going from bad to worse for Ring Driver, and Kogan, finally the man, the race winner from race 1, has dived into the pits. At lap 11, you can pretty much be assured he has stuck to the 1-stop strategy. Speedy Chicken now back up into second position, not that far behind Willie, who is yet to stop. So again, Willie proving that his tyre wear and fuel burn is very, very good, because he's able to stay out there longer than everyone. And of course, the advantage of that is he will be on the freshest tyres, and of the one stoppers, that is. Obviously the two stoppers will be a little bit better off, but he'll be on the freshest tyres out of those, only stopping once. So I'm looking forward to seeing where Willie lands, but at the moment he's not that far ahead of Speedy Chicken, who has made his first stop. Ring Driver's looking all kinds of sideways at the moment, just jumping out, getting a lot of oversteer, a lot of understeer for that matter as well, so he's having some tough times. Jason's in 6th position at the moment, having a solid race, and you can see on the left hand side there, Willie has dived into the pits at the end of lap 11. Kogan making some excellent moves there. He has done it the hard way around the outside of Risky Devil, but getting the job done. And he's, in fact, he's out wide. He gets on the grass, but he wasn't the only one, so he's able to hold that. And that is actually going to be a roundabout where a lot of the people who are doing their one-stoppers are diving into the pit. Some of them may have left it a little bit too long. Tyre wear is a big issue here. I'd imagine most of those people are suffering from some pretty bad tyre wear. But encouragingly for myself, I found myself in second, not very far behind Speedy Chicken. Of course, we are both on the two-stop strategy. So at this point, I was starting to wonder how my race was going to pan out. Kogan up into 4th position at the moment. You can see Crenshaw there, who did start very well, but had a very big accident coming out of 5th or 6th position at the time. He's found himself right at the back again. Moldovic still having a solid race. So he's not had the greatest of series so far. I'm sure he'll be a little bit disappointed. He suffered from a bit of bad luck through the time. He is currently in 5th position. That's a very, very solid spot. And Hippie Heed, who is also running a good race, in 6th position. But he's going to come under increasing pressure from Willie, who looks to have a very good run out of the final turn. Is he going to be able to swing up the inside and take that 6th position off Hippie? Here comes the manoeuvre. Who can be last on the brakes? Willie's got the position. There's not a great deal Hippie can do, especially given that Willie's tyres are only about 2 laps old. So nice and fresh there and able to get on with business. Having a really good round so far for Willie. And very close to Moldovic as well. So that 5th position is flying at the moment. You can see Moldovic runs out wide, makes a little bit of a mistake. That allows Willie to catch right up to the back of him here. Great onboard shots to give you an idea of exactly how far back he is. It gives you the opportunity as well to see the car in front and how their car's behaving, the kind of mistakes they're making and everything else. So, and in fact, Moldovic dives into the pits. It is time for his second and final pit stop. Willie is able to take that 5th position and goes on a charge after Kogan. Hippie and Moldovic also in the pits there. So this is about the lap 14, where the two stoppers are going to be looking to dive in. I did stay out. Speedy Chicken and I both stayed out. Of course, I came into the pits a little bit before Speedy, so you'd expect that he will probably pit a lap or two after myself. But just about everybody else in the field at this point will be exiting the pits for the final time. Ring Driver really putting some pressure on Stanu, who's out wide. Oh, I thought they were going to make contact. Managed to avoid it. Ring Driver stuck on the outside line though and is able to swoop in. That is just sheer grip from the tyres there has given him the opportunity. Jason's up into 2nd position. So he's having a really good race. He has to pit again, of course. I was in 2nd. It is time for my second and final pit stop at the end of lap 14. I will be going to the very end now. I don't have to take on as much fuel as the one-stoppers, and it does mean I want some nice fresh tyres, but you can see Willie, who's probably the man I'm chasing down there, coming down the pit straight. As I come out of the pits, this will give us an indication of the gap between the two of us. You can see he is quite a long way in front of me, so a lot of work to do. My tyres will be a lot fresher than he is towards the end of the race, and I've got Nielsen right behind me for company as well, so this race far, far from over. Of course, if you saw race 1, you'll notice that I made a pretty monumental strategy error by running out of fuel. I had to do the entire last lap of this race with 0.3 laps of fuel, which meant heavy fuel saving as we watch Speedy Chicken come in for his second and final stop. And of course he was a little bit in front of me. It looks like he's going to come out easily in front. I wasn't able to do the undercut. Jason's does take the lead. Speedy Chicken on the nice fresh tyres. Let's see how this one plays out. And oh, he's a little bit sideways straight out of the pits. It looks like he's cleared his internet up. Again, in race 1, he suffered heavily from lag, which is why in the end he retired from the race. Looking a lot more solid on the track. And looking very, very pacey. I suspect he's going to make light work of Jason's, whose tyres are not brand new. You can already see Speedy pushing and fighting. But he's unable to do anything about it on the final turn. A great run out of that. He's already right up behind him. And in fact, it looks like he's got a much, much better launch out of the final turn. They are side by side coming down to turn 1. Speedy is able to comfortably do it before they even get to the braking zone. So he does regain the lead. He is going to be going from here to the end of the race with no more pit stops. So that is very much an overtake for position, and it looks like he's going to comfortably go on to take that win, provided he doesn't make any major mistakes. Jason's still solidly going along in second position, and Kogan now up to third. So had a rough start to the race. Of course, he did win race 1, but he's going to be fighting as hard as he can to try and make his way up the front. I don't know if he's going to bother Speedy Chicken today, but nonetheless, doing a very, very good job. And a good recovery, of course, having to start from very, very last, or the very back of the grid. Skater getting a much better drive. Tricky Brewer's on the inside here, so is Tricky going to be able to stuff it back up the inside under brakes? No, he's not. Skater looking a little bit sideways there, but much, much more pace, carrying a lot more corner speed. And Speedy Chicken sifting his way through traffic now. Of course, in this series, lap drivers are ghosted automatically, which the theory behind that is, of course, the leaders can just worry about their line and their race. Nobody misses out on any positions or gets into any trouble because of lap traffic. And it also means that the guys running around at the back getting lapped don't have to worry so much about the leaders coming through. They don't have to affect their own race because they're jumping out of the way. But Willie in 4th position, you can see I've made some big inroads on him there. My tyre's much, much fresher. So this is going to be the battle for that 4th position. Nilsson a little bit further back, unsure if he's going to be able to trouble us at this point. He's on a one-stop strategy, so his tyres a lot more worn than myself. And in fact, he did pit, I believe, as well before Willie. But where's Willie gone? There he is. You can just see him in the background there. He's made a huge mistake. So we didn't quite catch that as we watched myself come through the final turn. There he is. You can see him just trying to recover from that. So a massive mistake. Unfortunately, the ultimate showdown between myself and Willie that we're always looking for when we do these races is not going to play out. A bit of a disaster there on the final turn. He's dropped all the way back to 7th position. So 3 positions lost. Unfortunately for Willie, he was having such a good round as well. Of course, he got 3rd in race 1. Was looking good for at least a 4th there. But Jason's actually sitting very, very well in 2nd position. So we'll see if Kogan can do anything about that and get a 1st and a 2nd for the round and win the round for that matter. As we have a look at Mojo in 12th position, a little bit more of a lonely race, but Moldovic just starting to drop down the pack. He'd been having a good race, obviously 2nd early on in the race. I think it was 5th last time we checked in on him. He is now down to 11th. And, or you could just see, who was that parked on the inside of the corner there? I'm not 100% sure as he gets going, you can see in the background. But Risky Devil is going to be fighting as hard as he can to hold 10th spot off Moldovic. It looks pretty racy. Skater now getting all kinds of sideways. He is ghosted as Speedy Chicken comes through to lap up to 9th position. Such is the advantage of being able to start out of pole position, especially in the reverse order races where his main competition. Oh, Kogan up to 3rd position, so no, that's where Kogan was. That's okay. I got excited then. I saw him around all the other traffic and thought he grabbed a spot. But just dealing with lap traffic, someone was going wide there in the background. And myself now did inherit 4th position off Willie with his big mistake. Trying to gauge from this view how far back behind Kogan I am. See if there's anything about Kogan I can do. Possibly not. Kogan's starting to look very sideways, of course. As I said before, he has only done the 1 pit stop for the race. So there is a chance, as you see me just starting to close that gap. My tyres are much, much fresher than Kogan's. Is there anything I can do? We're on lap 21. I suspect that is going to be the penultimate lap of the race. But that at the moment is the big hope. Jason's having a really solid race there in second. It doesn't look like Kogan's going to be able to trouble him. Speedy Chicken way out in front. We won't even worry about talking about him anymore. But see if Kogan can do anything about Jason's. I suspect he probably can't. But I'm now closing right up on the back of Kogan, and what you can't see is, unfortunately, as much as I got the fuel strategy wrong in the first race, I got it much worse in race 2, and I have to do this as I cross the line there. I had to actually do it with 0.2 laps of fuel on board. So I had to turn my fuel strategy right down to the lowest setting, burn the least fuel, and even that wasn't enough. I had to go half throttle, which means that Nielsen here, if he doesn't know it already, will see me coming up on him in a real hurry. We'll jump over to Speedy Chicken, who, as I said before, is going to go on to have a very comfortable race win. Congratulations to Speedy as he does some mad skids across the line. Jason's coming around in second. Actually, Kogan is right up behind him now. But I feel like he's done just enough. Nothing Kogan's going to be able to do. But a good comeback from Kogan. Not sure if Jason's made a mistake or just ran out of pace or fuel. In fact, it's really close across the line, and Jason's just keeping Kogan out. So maybe suffering from fuel. You can see me limping across the line with no fuel at all, and even I've only just managed to squeeze over the line in front of Nielsen. Willie coming around, he was looking very solid for a fourth. Might have been able to do a bit better, but did make that big mistake on the final turn. Comes home in 6th. Ring Driver in 7th. Risky Devil, you can see in 14th there. Anyway, that is going to be the end of the race. Hopefully you did enjoy race 2 of round 4. It's the second last round of the series. We've only got one more round to go. It's going to be from Brands Hatch. Hopefully you enjoyed this race. If you did, make sure you leave a like. Thank you all very much for watching, and I can't wait to talk to you all next time. Bye for now.